And now the market hits, right? Your father is here on this time, 2008. I'm not sure when.
No, he passed away in 86.
Oh, so this was okay. This has been
Yeah.
a ways. And you're you're kind of like in this limbo. You have did your immediate family move from the Philippines out here during that time as well? And
No, they were already, well, let's see. Yeah, they were already with us.
hmm,
So it was kind of rough.
I think this is a lot going on. It's for a lot of people right now.
Yeah.
Um, what was what was the what was the goal now? What's kind of the North Star? Because this, I think around this time, this is where I started working with you, I think, right? Around.
Yeah, I had lost my job looking for something,
Mm.
anything, and that's when we met. And
During
we
that
just
time, I
keep
would have
going.
never known.
Yeah.
Every day you came in, you were happy.
Hmm.
Every day you never showed any anger towards anyone. You're extremely respectful. You always helped me. The people that the manager there was mean. Like she was like this, like just like, and I was in high school, so
At that
um,
point, I didn't care. I just ignored her.
yeah. And
I really did.
but all the time, any questions I had, yeah, look, come over here, let me help you out.
Yeah.
And it was just so. It was the first time, the first job I've had, and you're the first person I interacted with, and you were so kind, and you were so thoughtful of the customers you had. The way you would take care of the customer when we were working there, and
Hmm.
the way you treated people. I've never seen any person. I remember being a kid and interacting with people in customer service and never really cared about me or cared about us, or
Yeah.
but you treated everyone with respect and um
Yeah, and believe me, there were a few people there that didn't return the respect or anything.
yeah.
So at that point, I was like, "Screw you!" After everything I've gone through, you're not important in my life, and I don't care.
And yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to mention that because um did you gain that type of mentality as you got older, or was it more of okay?
Yeah, my wife was key in that. She brought me out of my shell,
uh
and she taught me that you can't make everybody happy
mm,
because if you try, you'll never be happy.
mm.
So I just focused on my family. If they're happy, I'm happy, and I don't care what anybody else thinks.
Yeah, I'm that's yo, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, exactly.
um
Well,
so
she's from the Philippines. She was born with a knife in her hand.
yeah. So your world is uneasy, right? You're not really too sure about work. You have a kid, you have a big family at this point.
I was doing anything I can to put food on the table and keep a roof over my head.
You were like grinding. I mean, you were
Yeah.
putting in the work. And this is now in this time. You think you're in your probably late 40s. Am I right?
Around there, yeah.
Yeah. So where does, and I guess this is where does Disneyland come in? Because I know a little bit more about you.
Well, after I had my accident at where we worked,
Mm,
of course, I left.
mm,
I got a workman's comp settlement,
mm.
and I got to say, I only worked there 8 months.
Yeah.
That was the worst 8 months of my life.
Yeah, it was rough there.
I hate retail.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate it. That's 8 months of my life I will never get back. But again, it was an experience.
Yeah.
You learn from it. Good, bad, and different. You always take away something.
Sure.
And once I left that place, one day our son's friends were at the house, and one of the kids got a job at Disneyland,
Mm.
and he became a jungle cruise skipper. And
Yeah.
I'm going, oh God, that was one of my dream jobs.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And he said, well, why don't you apply? And my wife was there. She looked at me and says, yeah, why don't you apply at Disneyland? You've got nothing to lose. So I figured, what the heck? And he told me what to do and what to watch out for during the process and everything. And I I mean, a lot of people, they try, they fail, they don't get the interview. And at Disneyland, if you're not hired, you have to wait 6 months to try again. Me, I went through so fast, it made my head spin. There was just boom, boom, boom. From the application to the amounts to a psych evaluation.
Sure, sure.
And if you pass that, then you go on to the face-to-face interview, and I was hired on the spot. And I wound up at Tomorrowland Attractions. Yeah.
So this is you're born not really great. You go from on the border of Oregon, right? To Yuma. Yuma out to Anaheim. And you stay in Anaheim. You've been near Disneyland almost your entire life.
Yeah.
And then finally you get the opportunity and the chance to actually work there. And what was that feeling?
Well, at that point, I hated. I gained a disrespect and a distaste for computers and IT. I wanted nothing to do with it. I have a master's in IT, and I'm going, screw it. I don't want that. That's not my life anymore. And Disneyland, I just embraced it. And I started with the Utopia.
Oh.
Almost got ran over a few times, you know. And then I got something off of my bucket list. I got to drive the subs.
You got to drive the subs.
I got to drive the submarines, and here I am. I'm more outgoing than I ever had been.
Yeah.
Now, the submarines seat 40 people, and you're locked in. So I've got a confined audience, and I was cracking bad jokes and all of this stuff, and I was just having a good time. I was having a blast.
It's like you get to get paid to be at Disneyland, and
I got paid to have fun.
Yeah, I have fun. Yeah, that experience. Do you feel like it all came full circle here? Do you feel like at this time this was like, music is a big thing for you, right? And obviously you talk about it, and Disneyland is one of the most musical places you can probably go to.
Oh, absolutely. The music was tremendous.
Just going around and just being around the people and interacting with, and again, this was I'm not sure if it was the next place of employment, but from the time I saw you, just how pleasant you were with your customer service. I imagine that, like, no wonder they would bring you on the spot.
Oh, absolutely.
And the way you start interacting with people, I'm very curious, like, what is it like working there?
It's crazy. It's insane. It's nuts. The people are great.
Yeah.
You work with a lot of kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm almost 65, and to them, they're kids.
Yeah.
And it was fun working with them. They welcomed me with open arms. There was no backstabbing. It was, how can I help you, and how can I help others? And it was a camaraderie.
Yeah.
It really was. So I was in Tomorrowland Attractions for a year and a half. I almost had a nervous breakdown because I also worked the Fantasyland Theater where they were showing Captain EO at the time. And if I have to listen to that one more time, my urge to kill is going to go off the charts.
You forget that some people have to listen to the same thing over and over for years.
Oh, yeah. And you have to sit in the theater when that's running, when you have guests in there. So you can imagine that I want to claw my face off if I have to listen to this again. And so I had enough of that, and I was looking for something else, and I met up with a VIP tour guide, and I was talking to him one day, and he says, yeah, you ought to come over. I think you'd be a good fit. So I applied over there, and they accepted me, and I was there for 8.5 years in guest relations. Yes, I was a plaid, as they call it. I was one of the evil ones. I have the power.
Yeah.
And, it's being in that role, as they call it, people either love you or they hate you.
Yeah.
And if you hate me, I feed on that, and I will make your life miserable. And not really, but
I get it. Absolutely.
And if the most of the people, the majority of the people I interacted with in guest relations, absolutely wonderful. I've got a huge box of memories in there. that the other jobs I never had.
Yeah.
And gifts that they've given me and letters and other things, they're all in that box. I've got a pile of awards that high of basically attaboys. When people come in, they want to give a compliment, and then they make up a certificate and give it to you. It's on your record card. So, I mean, I got a ton of those.
It's the appreciation. It feels like for a long time, and please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You've never really been noticed, right? In a way, like you kind of just
Not like this.
yeah.
Yeah. And I made myself available. I made myself open.
Yeah.
And
You go from this shy kid to now, like you're all this appreciation and all this love and all this like, and you didn't shy away from it. It seems like you ran straight to it.
I embraced it. I really did. My wife was, Nasa was instrumental in bringing me out of my shell and showing me what I'm capable of, what I can do, how I can really enjoy life and live it more than I ever had before.
Even though she's this kind of like, you said the strength, right?
Yes.
She still taught you the kindness and the kind of the little things and the love of family and life,
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. To her,
It's the balance.
yes, because family is extremely important. When her parents came over, they lived with us, and as they got along in their years, their health started declining. So we made sure that they were comfortable. We took care of them.
And that's a lot of people have reservation bringing, like, oh, I have to bring, but you guys were just like, absolutely, let's do it. Like,
Yeah, and my mom came with us. She helped us buy our first house, and she lived with us until she passed away. And then, that's the way we kept going. And I have no regrets of it whatsoever because it's family.
Right.
You help family.
yeah,
That's something I never had growing up. I had my mom and dad, yeah, but the rest of my family, extended family, no. Everybody was out for
themselves.
They were for themselves.
You retire.
Yes.
And how was that? This is all the work you put in over the years, the education you got, getting your master's degree, putting all the work in IT and worked with these, pretty big private company contracts. And now you're kind of in a space where you feel like, I would say, I don't know if it's the most fulfilled, but you feel fulfilled. You feel like, man, I feel like appreciated. And, was it hard to part ways? Was it an easy thing? How was that?
Well, going back to Disneyland, believe it or not, out of all the jobs I had, Disneyland was by far the greatest experience I ever had. I had fantastic management. In fact, funny story real quick. I was talking to the senior manager who I became very good friends with. And one day I asked him, who do you work for? I mean, you get your paycheck from Disney, yes, but who do you work for? And he stood there, he thought for a moment, and he says, I work for you. I said, very good. That's right, because I studied management and all of this, and that's very profound. A lot of people doesn't get that concept. And I said, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I showed him studies of it and things, and he said, I never knew this. I said, well, it just confirms how you lead. He is a leader. He's not a boss. And he was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And that's what made it even better working at the park. So, I mean, Disneyland was, to me, the pinnacle of my working career. And I was there for 10 years.
I almost wish you could be there for longer, huh?
I wish I could, but
time to move on, yeah?
The commute was really getting to me.
Sure.
And after the COVID shutdown and everything, so much had changed that it just wasn't the same anymore.
The soul kind of was, yeah.
Yeah, and they're trying to bring it back, but it's been a very rough road. They'll get there, but it's going to take a long time.
Slow roll. Looking back at your life, now you're retired and you're seeing your son doing amazing things. What is what do you think about like where you started to where you are now? How does that experience been for you?
Happy. be honest with you. Through all the experience, good, bad, and indifferent, I feel fulfilled, especially right now.
That's awesome.
And my newest endeavor is painting. I've been painting for a couple of years. I'm self-taught. I have a subscription to a art academy and all of that.
And this is actually your piece, right?
This is one of my pieces, yeah. I made that for you and put up, admire, throw darts at, whatever you want.
Absolutely.
I love abstract art because there's no rules.
Sure.
No rules at all. You just, as one artist put that I follow, he paints to bless, not to impress. And that, you think about it, that's very profound, and that's the way I feel. You either like me or you don't. I don't care. I'm not out to impress anybody. I'm really not. I don't care. If you like the pieces that I do, fine. If you don't, fine. Just keep walking.
You are content and happy with who you are.
I'm content and happy with who I am, yes.
You're not trying to be anyone else but you.
Nope. I'm me. Take me or leave me.
That's something that's actually consistent through your entire life is that, look, you are who you are.
Thinking about it, yeah, it is. I'm me, and I'm not going to change for anybody. I tried changing for people to be my friend. No, don't ever do that.
You had one person.
Ever compromise for someone because you want them to be your friend. If you do that, they're not your friend. Never works.
And so this is where the one person who accepted you for who you are, your wife.
Absolutely.
That was the person you let in, and then she just kind of enriched the soul in a way.
Absolutely.
That's so cool.
Absolutely. If it wasn't for her, I don't know where I'd be.
Mr. Burke, your story is fascinating. For a moment there, sincerely, like for a moment there, I was nervous. I was like, it's almost like I know the ending, but still, like, I was nervous throughout the story. I'm like, geez, hang in there, Mr. Burke, hang in there.
In a lot of ways, I went through hell, but sometimes you have to go through hell to get to heaven.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm happy, even though I'm disabled. I have back and neck injuries and arthritis and a few other things. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I just keep going.
Mr. Burke, I'm grateful to have heard your story. I'm grateful to have met you, and like I said, for what you have, the way you treated me. You didn't manage. We were just pretty much the same level. And the way you treated me, the way you were just.
I treat people the way I want to be treated.
Yeah. And it was just that was a big thing for me, and it made me want to be able to be. I've really gained a lot. I know it's a very short amount of time, but sincerely, like I remember going into I started working at like Tivana Starbucks, and I remember like I would think, say, you got to be kind, you got to work with people, you got to be respectful to customers, and I gained a lot of that from you. So
thank you. I appreciate it.
And it's crazy. Right after I did that,
honored.
No, sincerely. Right after I did that, I joined the military and I joined the Air Force.
Did you really?
I joined the Air Force.
Oh my gosh.
And
were you stationed at Minot?
No, God, no.
Don't talk to me.
Absolutely not. No. Oh no, good. Yeah, I remember a portion that was you as well. I didn't want to join the military. My father was in it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. But
why did you? Okay, now I'm going to turn it on you.
No, it was a little bit of you.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't want to end up like my dad is very stern person, and I was very ignorant around that time. I was a young kid, I just didn't. I like poetry, and I liked art and music. I was in the choir. And just hearing you, I talked to you about some of these things, and I would tell you about like where I was, and I was in high school in choir at the time when I was, and the fact that someone can be as kind as you in a way, right, and be in the service, and that made me feel like, okay, then it's what you take from it and from that experience, and so that's what I wanted to. I don't want to say emulate that in a way, but I realized I needed more discipline, and so And my father was like really stern. Like, hey, you got to get more discipline. He was 100% correct, and the military really helped shift that mold.
Oh,
into a better
absolutely.
way.
Even in the Air Force, yeah.
It was really helpful. It was extremely helpful. But it's just, my wife is Korean. Like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I didn't have any of the experiences as you as a child. I had a lot. I had my I didn't go through anything near that. But just to kind of see going through high school and choir, going and joining the service, being in the military, went to school for computer software engineering. Like,
wow.
Isn't that fascinating?
Kind of creepy here.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So it's I mean, it's just awesome. And I'm grateful for you to be able to share that with